There's a truth most people avoid their entire lives, not because it's complicated, but because it's uncomfortable to face. You are not held back by lack of ability, lack of intelligence, or lack of opportunity. You are held back by something far more subtle. You're afraid of your own power. Not power in the loud, aggressive sense. Not dominance or control over others. Real power is quieter than that. It's the ability to make decisions and follow through. It's the ability to change your life without waiting for permission. It's the ability to stand on your own standards, even when it isolates you. And that kind of power comes with a cost most people aren't willing to pay. Because the moment you step into your power, excuses disappear. You can't blame your past the same way anymore. You can't point at other people as the reason your life isn't where you want it to be. You can't hide behind, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm not ready yet." Power removes those hiding places, and that's exactly why people avoid it. You know, it's easier to stay in a position where you don't expect much from yourself. It's just easier to live in potential rather than action. Because, well, potential feels safe. It gives you the illusion that one day things will be different, without actually forcing you to do anything today. But, you see, power demands action. It demands responsibility. It demands consistency. So, let's make this practical. Think about a time you knew exactly what you needed to do, but for some reason you didn't do it. Not because you didn't understand it, not because you didn't have the ability, but because, honestly, something in you just resisted. Maybe it was starting a business, fixing your health, ending a toxic relationship, or, setting boundaries with someone who drains you. That resistance wasn't laziness, it was fear. Because if you had taken action and followed through, your life would have changed. And change, real change, comes with uncertainty. It forces you into a new identity. It forces you to let go of the version of yourself you've been comfortable with, even if that version is holding you back. That's the part no one talks about. People say they want growth, but growth requires leaving behind what's familiar. And familiarity, even when it's painful, feels safe. So instead of stepping into their power, people shrink it. They procrastinate. They overthink. They distract themselves. They wait for the right time. They tell themselves they need more information, more preparation, more confidence. But none of that is the real issue. The real issue is this. Once you realize you have the power to change your life, you can't unsee it. And that means you either act on it, or you live with the knowledge that you're choosing not to. That's a heavy truth. Now, here's where things shift. Your power doesn't appear all at once. It shows up in small, controlled decisions. It's built in moments most people overlook. Waking up when you said you would, finishing something you started, saying no when you would normally say yes just to keep the peace. Staying calm when you feel triggered. Doing what needs to be done without announcing it to the world. These are not small things, This is how power is built. And the more you do this, the more, something changes internally. You start to trust yourself. You start to see that you're capable of more than you allowed yourself to believe. That voice that used to hesitate becomes quieter. That need for external validation starts to fade. But here's the catch. As your power grows, so does your awareness. You start to see where you've been settling. You start to recognize patterns you've been repeating. You start to notice the ways you've been avoiding responsibility. And that can be uncomfortable, because now you can't pretend you don't know. So what do you do with that? You simplify. You don't try to fix your entire life at once. You don't chase perfection. You focus on one area where you know you've been holding back. Maybe it's your discipline, or maybe it's your health, or even your boundaries. Just pick one. Then take one clear action, not a plan, not a promise, an action. If it's your health, just go for a walk today. If it's your discipline, complete one task you've been avoiding. And if it's your boundaries, say no once where you would normally give in. Because, power is not built in theory, it's built in execution. And once you start, something shifts. You realize that the fear wasn't about the action itself. It was about what the action represents: change, responsibility, growth. Now let's address something important. Stepping into your power doesn't mean becoming perfect. It doesn't mean you'll never doubt yourself again or never hesitate. Those things don't disappear, What changes is your response to them. Instead of stopping when you feel resistance, you move anyway. And instead of waiting to feel ready, you act despite not feeling ready. That's the difference. And over time, that builds a version of you that is steady, grounded, and in control. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped avoiding your own capacity. So, if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been telling yourself that something is missing, well, consider this. Nothing is missing. What's missing is your willingness to step into what you already have. Your power isn't something you need to find. It's something you need to stop avoiding. And the moment you stop running from it, honestly, everything changes. If this gave you something real to think about, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more grounded, practical insights like this, subscribe and stay connected.